Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kent again, and welcome to the Flight Show. So for you, I'm doing a little bit something getting back to my original videos, but yet a little something different. I'm giving you a view of my home cockpit that I've built, and I'm doing an approach on a brand new aircraft that I've just purchased. Well, it's not exactly brand new, but it's been out rather recent, but I just picked up a copy of Captain Sim's 757-200. I've been a fan of the 757, and I flew the Captain Sim quite a bit when it was available for Flight Simulator, Steam Edition, Flight Simulator, and Prepar3D V4.3. But I didn't really get it right off the top when it became Prepared version 4. And the reason is, one, it's an expensive aircraft. You know, it's about $75, and I knew I had to get my favorite aircraft from PMDG. And I also didn't really want to get it right out of the gate because it was going to probably have some bugs, and it had a chance to get some updates. So I started flying it. I just got it yesterday. I did a couple of flights, and I thought, hey, why don't I do a video on the approach? So what you're looking at is me doing an approach on Nashville International, or KBNA. And you've seen some of these videos before on my channel, but I never really narrated me doing an approach. So I thought, I think I've done that on one, and it's when I've done Madeira with that really unique approach coming over the water as you're approaching the mountain and then turning on to the final. So what you just see here is I'm just about to turn on to the final for the airport, and everything is cool. Now there's some things that I'm still working out with this aircraft. I could go into like every little thing, but it's just its nuances. Like I tried to do a cold and dark startup, and I did it this morning, but I didn't do so well this afternoon, so I didn't even bother doing the whole flight. But like if you look at some of my original videos, I did approaches, and so getting back to kind of the basics, that's what I'm doing right now. So as you can see, right now I'm handling the MPC, and I'm getting everything dialed in. I'm setting my heading in case, there's a problem and I just don't want the plane to fly off in some direction while I correct for it. And I'm just descending to the approach altitude, which in this case I think was 2,600 feet. Actually, I was kind of happy with the overall output of the landing. I wanted to also mention to you, one of the things that I'm really glad about, I've been working really hard at the frame rates. And I used to believe that if you were just going to run Flight Simulator or Prepared on 3 monitors, you just never were going to get great frame rates because of the fact that you had to render 3 monitors. But with the advent of the newer CPUs, and I'm running an i7-8700 CPU, and I'm running a GTX 1060 Nvidia card, I am actually getting really good frame rates even though I'm rendering on 3 monitors. Now you wouldn't notice that if I'm doing a video of a cockpit landing and I'm only showing the cockpit, because of the aspect ratio, you're only having to video the single monitor. But when I do my approaches over the shoulder, you get to see what I normally fly on. And I tell you, if you're an individual who ever has the blessing of being able to put 3 monitors on your cockpit to fly, I don't think you're really going to want to go back, because it's so great being able to have that big peripheral vision and fly at the same time. But when you record flights, you just can't do that, because the only way it would look normal is if the person watching it had 3 monitors as well. So that being said, I don't really record like that, but then you're getting an opportunity to see what it is that I see. So right there, you're just getting a little bit of the outside wing. I was checking that out. Love the wing view, but you're really only going to be able to enjoy that fully if you record the flight and then you go back and look at that view, because obviously when you're landing, you've got things to do. Now, unfortunately, FS Crew doesn't do the cabin crew for this particular airplane. So, if you're kind of a big fan of FS Crew, you're not going to get a lot of mileage out of having Captain Sim's 757. But if you are a fan of 757, then I think you will enjoy it. There are a couple of bugs that still need to be worked out, but I'm really enjoying this aircraft. I don't know where it's going to be in terms of what I'll be flying the most. I'm a little ADD when it comes to commercial aircraft. Sometimes I'm feeling a 747, sometimes I'm feeling a 777 rather, and now I have the 757 and of course the 737. So sometimes I just want to have a complement of planes so I can fly what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. I would be glad when Captain Sim gets around to publishing the 727, but I don't know if they have plans on doing that for Prepared 4. I haven't heard anything official, but with less and less people continuing to use Flight Simulator Steam Edition and moving over to the Prepared platform, I think as soon as it seems like it's going to be a revenue generating venture, you could see most of the aircraft from Flight Simulator SE Steam Edition on Prepared. One of the ones I'm really hoping for from PMDG is the DC-10, or not really the DC-10, but the MD-11. Jury's out on whether that's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, so we're turning on to final, and I've just dropped landing gear, and I am about to go for full flaps. And you know, I really enjoyed the approach, but I will warn you that landing stands a little something to be desired. But if you're really thinking about getting, building your home cockpit, just taking a look at mine will give you the idea of some things that you're going to want to have. You want to have a good autopilot. If you're an Airbus person, then you might want to get an MPC that's reminiscent of the Airbus. As you see, my MPC is reminiscent of a 747 or Boeing's in general. They look the same to an extent with the 777, 747, and even the 757 and 767. But the 737 has a little bit of a departure from what it looks like, but all the keys are functional when you program them right. My particular MPC is from Insight VR, and it's utilized not with their software, but with Linda, which is a freeware software that helps you interface between Flight Simulator Prepared and that particular device. Okay, so as you see, I am now on final and descending towards the runway. I don't know why, but I hit to arm the approach and it was still flying level, so I went ahead and took control of it and flew the ILS in visually using the flight director. So as far as the lineup was concerned, it was great, but what you're about to see is that the moment I touched down, when I touched down, for some reason I think a gust of wind took the plane, because it was causing me to drift even though I was on the ground, towards the right, and I almost ended up off the runway, but I held it together, and once the plane dropped in speed, recovered, and everything else was cool. So here we are with the touchdown, right, cutting throttles, waiting for the gentle touch, and here we are. And now you'll see that wind gust. Don't know what's going on there. Like I said, this is only really the second time that I even landed the plane. Last night I landed in San Diego. The landing was, pretty cool, but I was still learning how to fly the plane. But all that being said, I will let you enjoy the rest of this video without me having to bug you. I really am trying to get back to getting some regular videos out, but oh my gosh, if you just knew my work schedule, you'd realize, how do you get any videos out at all? Just really having to exemplify time management. Plus, it's the Memorial Day weekend, so I was able to crank this out. Thank you for tuning in, and if you haven't, I really hope that you leave me a couple of likes and subscribe to the channel. I really enjoy Flight Simulator, but even more so, I love putting up videos to help people enjoy it and learn some things that helps them make their experience a lot more immersive. So that being said, I am Kent, and I really appreciate you turning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the virtual skies. Flaps up.
never say my landings are any good.